For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast of the 40 years of playing PlayStation. 50 years of playing PlayStation and about 15 years in that games being combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, or comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturists. Now, Max, last week, I coughing up a storm. I did my best to mute as much of it as I could. Going over the audio, turns out, not so much. However, today, I think I am on the precipice of getting sick. Like, you know when you were just this close and you were just right over that edge. So I had my son over this weekend, and he himself coughing, spluttering up the joint, as he does. Because, Max, I'm sure you're aware with your daughter now in school, and she's currently right there next to you, there is something that kids do when they go to school, and that is become
go to bed.
Patient zero.
No. Go.
They just happen to be the harbinger of all the sickness in the world. And because they're your kid, they get up in your business, and then you just breathe in all their sickness. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I'll tell you a story. So when we're doing drop-off last week, would have been, I want to say like Wednesday, I said to Hadley, oh no, sorry, there was a lady in front of us dropping her kid off, and she says to the teacher, oh, she's really sick, but I'm home all day today, so if she's dying, call me. And then I'm like, so who'd you play with today? And Hadley's like, I played with such and such. And I'm like, wasn't that the girl who was sick? And she's like, yep. I'm like, you don't play
with sick
kids. To be bringing home your nonsense later.
But I love it because it's that weird balance, right? You don't want to tell your kid, like, hey, don't hang out with that kid, because that seems like a dick thing to say. However, if that kid's fucking sick, get them the hell away from my child.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be home anyway, keep your...
Yeah, just take the fucking kid home.
Leave your snot goblin at home.
Ugh. Shouldn't say that, though. Like, I think pretty sure my kid went to school today. But, like, he wasn't, super dead. He's just like, I don't know. I didn't make the choice. Not up to me at all. But, yeah, it does appear that, like, I'm probably sick. I think Phoebe may be a little bit sick. However... I can't, like, it's one of the, this is my, like, everyone knows with my new job, like, I'm in schools, I'm out and about, this is my 4th week in a row of near every day in a school, so I'm fucking exhausted, I'm zonked, I'm lucky I don't have any more after this week. Saying that, though, I can't get sick until next week. Because my bosses are currently in the Northern Territory. So, like, if I fucking collapse, there is no one, then we just have to cancel appointments. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to push it back and delay it. So I just have to fucking push through all of it super hard to come to the other side and be like, cool, then I can die. Saying that, though, Max, that is on top of me having a weekend of death. In that I have a wrestling show on Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday.
Yeah, I saw that they were advertising. They're like, Thursday and Saturday. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Was Friday too expensive for you guys to book? Or?
I don't know. The Thursday it's at a brewery. So that's like it's a no ring brewery show. Like Thursday nights are more normally like uni night, I think. So that's probably what they're going for. Saturday we need because we're doing the first ever Australian tag team deathmatch tournament. So we've done deathmatch tournaments before. We've done about 3 of them now I've been a part of 2 of the 3. And this is the first time that they're doing a tournament with tag teams. So that's like 16. Is it 16? Yeah, I think it's like 16 teams. So 16 individuals, 8 teams. Free beer, possibly, but it is on the other side of Victoria. So it may be free, but I won't be able to do it because I will need to be able to drive home. And plus, I'll be working the show, so I need to be able to commentate on the matches.
It sounds like you should just stay there and not be.
Nah, because I've worked the next day, so I've got to come back.
But it's a Saturday. You don't
the Saturday. Oh, no, that's the Thursday. Yeah, the Saturday. The Saturday's in the city somewhere, and then I'll just come back, and then I've got another show on the Sunday.
I'm feeling you now.
Yeah. I'll make it work. Look, it's these weekends don't come around all that often, and plus, I love doing them, so I'm probably gonna just do it. I'll just push through. That's what I do. That's what helps fill my cup. But Max, for yourself, what's been going on?
Well, I've had Mum down.
Yeah.
I drove her back to Melbourne Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
She spent the last 2 nights with my sister, so she's actually on the plane. I think she's about to board. She's heading back to sunny Queensland tonight, which is cool. I've enjoyed that. So I haven't been doing much. Just been hanging out with Mum because it's been like a hot minute since I've seen her properly.
Nice.
Obviously, they came down in February for like a night to go see Green Day.
Yep.
We went and did Green Day things and then we disappeared. I nearly died twice on the way home from Melbourne because people just can't drive. I'm literally at a set of traffic lights to turn onto the freeway. I get the green arrow. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. And then some dickhead just goes straight through the intersection. I'm like, I guess I'm not going to go. And then it's pissing down rain. I'm going along. I took the scenic route through St Kilda. So I was driving along St Kilda Beach. Mm-hmm. And some idiot just pulled out in front of me again. I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm just invisible.
Yeah, driving in Melbourne is a little fucked. It's a bit shit most of the time. There's a child in your background, Max.
Yes, I know. I can see her and she needs to go to bed. Hadley, get out of the shot I'm recording. Go away. No, take your... for this room.
Yeah, you look at how's that coming? You still getting the door and the wall to lock it off?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. But outside of that, pretty chill.
Outside of that, pretty chill. I haven't done much.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat. Yeah, just doing. So one of the things that we throughout this week, because I've been in hell, like I said, busy last couple of weeks. So like you and I haven't really spoken all that much throughout the week as we normally do. Not
at all.
No, which is kind of fun. Because it's always funny because out of nowhere we go, oh yeah, shit, we didn't think we've spoken for like 4 days. And that's what's great about the show. The show is one of the many ways that that you and I catch up. But we're having this discussion around like, so what is that? What have you played this week, right? So before we jump into that section, we've been discussing that, and I was like, my response was, I haven't really played much this week. Mostly because I've been busy, and we would share, just talk about the idea of how we're both sort of consciously making choices to spend nights. I know it sounds like we're being so holy then now, martyring ourselves. We're just doing basic fucking kindness. We're both consciously ensuring that we spend some evenings with our partners, not each other's partners because that'd be weird, but our respective partners, just by having a night with them rather than playing games or doing this or whatever. It's just having some time with them. So for myself, I've been making sure that we've been watching some TV, having a movie, just chilling out, just the two of us. Doesn't happen all that often. So I'm conscious. So I'm consciously making that choice because there's always people at my house, always people around, which is awesome. But yourself, because you're in the same boat though, Max, aren't you? You're making that same choice.
Yeah, I mean, I've also been going to bed. I've going to bed a lot. I've also been going to work a lot earlier, so I can kind of like not be a zombie the next day. it's just one of those things. And then, yeah. So, and then obviously because Mum's been down, I kind of took time off to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because obviously she doesn't come down often, so
But
make the effort.
But of course, that doesn't mean we haven't played anything. Max, have you played anything this week?
I ordered a Switch 2 this week.
Oh, let's go through that.
That's what I did this week. They're basically Telstra sent me an email going, "Hey, we're doing Switch 2s the same way you bought your Xbox. You keen?" I'm like, "Oh, how much is it?" And they're like $29 a month. And I'm like, "Deal."
That's not bad. It's kind of like
I signed
one
up.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's one Spotify Premium.
Oof. Fuck Spotify.
And then I went to
expensive.
and then I went to cancel my Spotify Premium because I don't really use it that often. I'm more of an audiobook kind of guy, but Ali uses it because we've got a family
Yeah.
thing. And Ali's like, "Oh, just cancel it. I can't believe it's like $25 a month. That's fucked." I'm like, "Okay, but you understand that you only get 6 skips per hour if you're on the free version." She's like, "Oh, I'll just pay for it."
But it's funny how there's those little moments like that. So this week, I have really got pushed to the line with YouTube. I don't know what it is. The ads have gotten fucking worse and more frequent and more annoying.
I used to be a premium, but it's just so expensive.
Exactly. Like, I am right on that cusp of just saying, fuck this and getting YouTube Premium. However, I refuse to pay for it because it's so expensive just to not be annoyed. And, like, granted, being able to, like, close my phone and still hear videos, because that's how I listen to a lot of things, because I love listening to video essays.
That was a big thing for me.
Yeah. And I feel like it's killing me, right? So, like, I kind of just, when it comes to our videos on YouTube, I just put up whatever the standard monetization is. Because apparently, if you choose to not make your video monetizable, now I did that for a while because I didn't want people to be annoyed by ads. However, it actively limits and restricts your video from being distributed. Now, granted, we don't get like hundreds of thousands of views. Fuck, we're lucky to get 100 views most weeks. But, yeah, toggling that, like, hey, this video can play ads, is just immediately stops it from being seen. It's kind of insane. So I have had to do it recently. I apologize if the ads are annoying. I don't place them anywhere. I just tick the box and, like, let it go. But yeah, there are moments which is frustrating. But for yourself, Max, back to the original discussion, the Switch 2. Wasn't there a moment, I swear we had a discussion even here on the show where you're like, yeah, I don't need it.
No. So I've always been on board for it. But my thing was going to be like, oh, I'll slowly save up and I'll buy one for Christmas. Be a Christmas gift for me and Hadley. And then I'm like, well, I can just do it this way and have it.
Have it now, yeah.
So why not?
It is a pretty sweet deal. Are you still paying off your other devices? They're all done?
They're all done.
Nice.
I've got like one payment left on my phone. But yeah, they're all done.
Sweet. So for yourself, that's absolutely a killer deal then. If you don't if you're not paying off anything else, fucking win.
I just gotta get some Switch games now.
Yeah.
I can finally play that Pokemon Scarlet.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Because it's getting a free upgrade for Switch 2, which would be nice. And there's a few that I've got my eyes on that I'll try and pick up around launch time. Obviously, Mario Kart Tour is a big one.
Oh yeah, like I am a little tempted for the Switch 2 solely on Mario Kart. However, I'm not. If I'm going to spend the money on purchasing a new console, I'm going to get that PS5 Pro. Like, that's what I'm going to get. Is it as flashy and exciting as a Switch 2? No, but for me it is, because I'd rather spend the money on that. I had a Switch and I fucking never used it. Now that was once we stopped covering Nintendo. Like, prior to that, I was on the Switch all the time. But then I just chose I'm just going to focus on one console for content purposes. It's just easy, makes it enjoyable. That's what I want to go. And now with like Death Stranding 2 coming right around the corner, Ghost of Yote, GTA next year, and the price.
He says Ghost of Yote like he's gonna play it.
No, but I want to like I will play it like I will give it a burl and see what it can achieve on the Pro. But will I enjoy it? Probably not. Like, I'll still give it a go, though. Knowing that things like Oblivion run better on there. I think Doom's is, like, pumped up on there as well. Like, there's a lot of PS5 Pro games that I'm currently playing or that I would be keen to play again, like Death Stranding 1, because I am hoping to do a rerun ahead of...
Just play it on PC.
I did think that, too, but I think Phoebe will really like the game. I think she'll really enjoy it from a like the story is obviously pretty fantastic, but I think just because it's not action heavy, it's just kind of an awesome experience. I think she'll get a kick out of it. So I am contemplating running through that again. However, before we jump to that, like I touched upon Doom. Let's go with that. So as I quickly take down my notes. I have continued to spend some time with Doom, not too much more time, as in this week I've not really played a whole lot of games. However, I am still incredibly happy with Doom the Dark Ages. I love it. I'm enjoying it. I am now in a similar space to yourself. I went in, I kind of pulled up all my gold and my, was it rubies? I think. Yes, rubies. And I just completely decked, I just filled the shield. I liked your tactic from last week. Immediately went ding, 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 ding.
I like always have full shield because of it. Because every time you kill an enemy with a shield, you gain shield, you recover shield from like everything that's been killed.
So that's great. So now when I throw it into something, it kind of chews at them for a while. I'm now I can't remember what level number I am, but I've recently done that sort of that really big open area that gets you into the castle. Because one of the things we mentioned last week, I think we said 33 levels. There's only 22, so we misspoke. Apologies on that.
I did the same thing. I swear there was 33 when we started playing it, and then I'm like, hang on, it says 22 now. When did that happen?
Yeah. So that's good. So that means like it's not as long as I originally considered, which is a big positive. However, I am enjoying sort of chipping at it, just coming in, getting it, because without the, and which we discussed last week, without like the super punchy, engaging soundtrack that is Mick Gordon, I'm kind of relying solely on gameplay to pull me forward. The story, as I discussed last week, the story is fine. It's the means to an end. It's the things that explain to me why I'm tearing through all these demons. I'm shooting things. But what helped, as we discussed last week, was that really industrial sort of gent energy that came from Mick Gordon's soundtrack. It was bouncy. It was louder in the mix. So it kind of... its ability to combine itself with the gameplay to create this really dynamic experience is sadly missing. Like, there are moments where the guitar chugs will come through the mix, but 9 times out of 10, all I'm hearing is gunfire and demon noises, which is very stark difference to the previous two. Still enjoy it though. Not hating it. Have you spent any more time with Doom?
Yeah, I played a little bit more, so I think I'm about 4 levels past that big open world level, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I feel punished playing the game the way I want to play it, because you do get hamstrung a bit if you don't kill the demons in the specific way. They're like, hey, we gave you weapons to deal with them. We've shown you how to do it. I'm like, yeah, but I don't like those guns. Can I just use what I like over here? And they're like, well, you can. It'll just take you like 3 times longer to get through anything because you're not doing it the optimal way, which is fine, and I understand that's the choice that they made when they designed the game, and I'm the one being difficult and wanting to, do it my way. Doom has never really been my forte. I didn't finish Eternal. 2016, I think I just finished. The game is still solid. Like, the gunplay's nice. the moment to moment of the the traversal, the corridor, the kill room. It kind of is how almost every single level is set up.
Oh, having some minor technical difficulties there. I do apologize. Will he come back? Max, come back. No, may have lost him. That's not good. Are we still streaming, though? Might still be streaming. Either way. Look, Max will return momentarily. Uh-oh, says mute. Oh, he's back. There he is. Hey, man, what's going on?
Oh.
We lost you for a second.
Really? You lost me? I lost you. You went... I lost your signal.
You went phrase. In the chat, in comes Puck after quietly hiding in the background. Here's Snake! That's awesome.
Oh. That might be why. Hang on, let me just...
It's all good. That was good, Pop.
Stop that.
Thank you, Puck. That was brilliant. Now, Max, as you were saying...
How much did you miss? All of it?
Yeah, I don't remember now.
Yeah, basically, I was just saying that Doom has never been my real
much,
cup of tea game.
You mentioned you just finished 2016, and then it kind of shut itself.
I'm enjoying the fact that they are changing up the level design. Well, they're not. The level design still what did I say? Traversal, corridor, kill room, but the kill rooms are all designed differently enough that you kind of have to tackle them each in an individual way. But I can see why, according to sources online, that this is the slowest moving or slowest selling game of the series of the latest three.
Yeah. So last week we were discussing it is a slow moving game in terms of how you play. However, I think with the transition from predominantly gunplay and traversal mechanics with Eternal, we're now getting into a lot of melee combat, which intentionally slows you down. By choosing to lock that shield, it slows down your movement, so you're not zip-assing around the level or the kill room as much as usual. So I do believe that is a conscious choice that the game has made, which we know it to be. The entire system's built behind it. But I mean that I do have to credit id for wanting to make something new. They had a plan in mind and they stuck to it. This is what we want to try. This is what we want to do. This is what we're going to go with. I'm like, brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Max, have you been playing anything else?
No, I haven't touched anything. Yeah, not really. Not at all.
Let me have a quick look at my phone. Let me see.
Oh, no, actually, no. I played Destiny 2.
Oh, of course.
So they launched, I think it's called The Rite of the Nine. So they have remixed 3 of the earlier dungeons to bring them in line with the later dungeons. They've added like what is essentially they're referring to as contest mode to these old dungeons. I think it's called ultimatum mode in this. So I jumped on yesterday. This is week 2. For some dumb reason, they had them set to 3-week rotations, which is there's 3 dungeons. There's I think 12 weeks until this thing ends. So they were going to do 3 weeks of Dungeon 1, 3 weeks of Dungeon 2, 3 weeks of 3, and then the last 3 weeks were like fucking free-for-all. I think they've now changed it to 2 weeks. But this week is the second week, and they dropped if you just complete it on any difficulty, you can pick an exotic weapon from the dungeons. So I didn't have them.
So in the chat, Puck jumps in and goes, 1 week per weapon per dungeon. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't have 2 of the 3 dungeons actually contain an exotic gun as a drop. I didn't have either of them. So I did I think it's Spire of the Watcher is the rotated dungeon at the moment. So I just joined in, played with 2 randos. We speedrun the shit out of it. I think it took me like 20 minutes to finish the entire dungeon.
Nice.
Went and collected my loot, and it's like, hey, do you want this one or this one? I'm like, well, I'll take this one because this is for the dungeon that's coming up next week, and I fucking hated that dungeon. I'm never doing it again, so let me just get the gun for that one real quick so I don't need to do it ever again. But yeah, it's weird playing Destiny by myself. My Destiny buddy's currently over in Greece, so.
Puck jumps in with a chat and adds, for this event, they made these dungeons free to everyone, whereas you had to have bought a dungeon key or a full year of season passes to get it.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting choice. I assume that was a intentional decision with Destiny 2. Is it to attract more individuals in? Like, what do you think the reason is behind this?
I would imagine so. Well, I mean, the dungeons are essentially their mini raids, and to have contest modes on these old ones has been nice because obviously for the longest time they have a weekly rotation of dungeons of where you can get like what is referred to as pinnacle gear, which is the highest gear level drop. The other thing is that they introduced with this is when you return, you get a full set of gear at max power level. So it's an incentive for people to come back, play for a little bit before the new expansion drops in July, and to be fresh and fully geared, ready to go if you kind of fell off the season a little bit or haven't played for some time. And then, yeah, it's a good excuse to get other people in who have never played these dungeons, didn't buy the keys, didn't buy the season passes. They can kind of come in and do stuff as well.
Sick. Fantastic. I'm glad you're still able to chip away at some Destiny time, even though it's kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, had its time in the sun, right? Like it's finished up its end. It did its end game, and now we're into something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for myself, outside of that, a lot of the usuals. A bit more blueprints this week. Still haven't reached the 46th room. I think I may have mentioned last week. A good friend Craig has. But I myself am kind of solving or having fun solving everything else.
I came so close to reaching the 46th room the other night.
Ooh, how so? How'd it go?
I found 2 of the levers to open the antechamber doors.
Yeah.
You obviously got to get it. And both of those doors were locked into dead end rooms. And I couldn't get the third.
See, but this is the other thing though. So like,
I was like shattered.
you only really need to open one door to get into the antechamber, and then it's opening the back door that's the challenge. That's what I'm yet to do. Like I've been into the antechamber super times, but as still from last week. No, grant I've not played like extensively. However, I'm still yet to get like the power room next to the pump room, so I can drain the reservoir, which will give me the last thing I need to be able to get to 46. But yeah, I can get to the antechamber easy at this point. It's insane to think about, right? Like there's some of those trophies that are like get to the 46th room in one day, and I honestly have no idea how you do that because I'm at day like 50 something. And like you just have to keep rerunning it and starting a new save and going again. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's a way you can do it. I kind of sussed it out. There's a way you can do it. Like if I've been taking my notes correctly, as long as you can get the garage early, and you can re-roll the outside room into a crypt, you should be sweet. Okay. You should theoretically be able to do it on day one, but you have to save like all your re-rolls to re-roll the outside room to guarantee yourself a crypt.
All right,
and then you can kind of do it, but everything's got to be like perfect.
Yeah, I don't have the patience for that. I think once I get into that 46 room, I'll be like, yeah, and then call it quits.
But like I'm on day like 40 something now, and I've only just found the secret garden.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I did that quite a while ago. Have you found the room 8?
Room 8? No, not yet. But I've found like 6 of the 8 red envelopes.
Yeah, I got 5 of them at this point. Yeah, there's a couple of safes that I can't quite work out the PIN code for, and I assume that'll be where I get it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, some WWE stuff. We're about to kick into the new season of TCW over at Twitch with our good friend Mad Dog. So we had my friend and actual professional wrestlers, Will Walker and Charlie Rose. They came over and they helped us build our movesets. Now, I'm pretty sure I discussed this a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month and a bit ago, about how they applied actual ring psychology to my character, so to all the moves lead into each other, and it's all this. So when the AI is playing, it will just seamlessly kind of do what it needs to do, given if once it starts to get on a roll. That was all done on purpose because I want it to feel like I want our characters to feel like real wrestling characters. And with Will, like one of his skill sets is the ability to just see it and think about it and build it. Like it's for him, he refers to it as like his autism power, right? Just be able to like see it, or if we're like, hey, we're thinking about a move that kind of might do something like this, and he's like, and can find it in almost like in a second. Oh, cool, this, and out it pops. It's incredible. Watching him work is next level, like no joke. But other than that, not a whole much. So let's get into the section we call Inform the Players, where we tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation. Now, this is the first one I'm finding really interesting, because this piece of news is not the first time we've had to talk about this.
No. So it has not been a good week for Marathon or Bungie. Forbes claims morale at the Washington-based outfit is, quote, in free fall after it was accused of plagiarizing art assets earlier this week. To the studio's credit, it did respond rapidly, admitting its errors and outlining the steps it's going to take to rectify them. That alone would be bad enough, but then the firm forged ahead with an ill-conceived livestream where a visibly upset art director, Joe Cross, read out a statement while being berated by the chat. Quote, it came to our attention that an artist who worked on Marathon in an early stages of pre-production took a number of graphic elements from a graphic designer without permission or acknowledgement, placed them on a that was then checked in 20...
Oh, we're losing him again. Max! Come back to me, Max. Max. No, he's gone. All right, well, I'll jump into where he was up to just so we can go. Can you hear us? I can hear you. Bungie doesn't want this information reported. Love it. All right, let me jump into that. Quote, it came to our attention that an artist who worked on Marathon in the early stages of pre-production took a number of graphic elements from a graphic designer without permission or acknowledgement and placed them on a decal sheet that was then checked in 2020, he said. Oh, Max, we're back. I'm just going to keep reading where I was up to. So, quote, the decal sheet included icons and text elements. These elements ended up in our alpha build, and then there is absolutely no excuse for this oversight. And we are working on and 100% committed to our review process to ensure instances like this don't happen again at on Marathon or at Bungie. The studio had been set to show more of Marathon gameplay during this live stream, but because it couldn't guarantee any of the aforementioned offending assets would show up in the footage, it decided to postpone the showcase instead. And finally, Forbes, who citing unnamed sources, said it's, quote, chaos at the developer right now, with many staff fearing the release will no longer be ready for its 23rd of September launch while it works to scrub the offending art. Now, Max, we did lose you there for a moment, internet doing internet things, but...
no, Steam keeps trying to update my fucking library.
So...
like, just piss off.
With you being... our resident expert or person of knowledge around Bungie. I mean, this is the fifth time that they have been done.
It's something like that. So we were talking about it last week, where they're currently being sued for the story of Red War, the original Destiny 2 campaign. Mm-hmm. There is mention that I think it was in the final shape, I believe it was, they took art assets from a different developer, from a different artist. That artist made a post earlier this week saying, hey, Bungie said that we're going to rectify this issue and pay me or acknowledge me in some way. I'm still waiting for that to happen. So, yeah, this is just not a good look for Bungie.
No, not at all. Especially on the back of what appears to be just further and further bad publicity for Bungie. Now, things were looking up, and like, if we sort of reflect on recent history of Bungie. There was, the acquisition, which we all collectively thought was a bit of an overpayment. We are now seeing that is exactly the case. They were brought on board into first-party studios with the idea of working them as this independent faction within the greater team. Very quickly, we started to realize that is not the case, as they're being monitored very heavily. They were brought in for their expertise around the games as a service space, and then proceeded to not be able to do that in their own team, yet had ripple effects on a number of other titles in the space. One of them, which I will move the stories around, and we'll jump into that next. I know we've asked this every time we read a story about Bungie, but has PlayStation bought a dud? Because the problem that we have here, Max, is this is the fifth time, and this is multiple times that lawsuits have presented themselves to the team based on decisions like this. Now, I understand, and this is something that has been that I've been informed of in the past. In those early developmental stages, as the assets are being built, they will just supplement them in the game with something else, with the idea that they will replace them later. Now, when they do that, it's normally art that might, align with the idea or fit in that space. But it's never, exactly what the art is going to be. But what we're seeing here are moments where either that's being done and no one's cleaning up afterwards, or they're just doing it and knowingly so.
Yeah, so my understanding with this is the artist that kind of did it no longer works at Bungie.
Yeah.
So it either wasn't annotated correctly to say, hey, this needs to be pulled out, or that guy was like, oh, I'll get to that later, it's fine, and then obviously no longer works there, so never got back to it and just didn't tell anyone. Which is still no excuse. You would think that a team that big could just make their own fucking art stand-ins.
Yeah, you would think they would just make some stick figure-y little pictures and just throw it in.
Just pull some shit from fucking Destiny assets and stick it in there for now.
Well, you've got 10 years worth of game to pull from.
It's not like you don't have random art assets that you could just fill in for now. It's a very bizarre situation. It'll be interesting to see how this affects the lawsuit that's currently going on.
If anything, look, I have this. I've been pondering on this.
Is the next headline that we hear from about Bungie is that Sony is now running Bungie?
Well, they pretty much are. They made that small team within them. They essentially went, "You guys aren't making any choices. We are making choices now." They stripped the team in order to build Team LFG, or at least take some of the key individuals within it. What I do wonder, Max, and what I find very interesting, is that in a world of generative AI, why couldn't they just fucking make some shitty AI art to put in there instead? Why do you have to steal somebody else's shit? Which, I know AI is technically stealing other people's shit, but, pardon me, at least you have the ability to claim that it's yours, kind of. But look, we alluded to the idea that PlayStation going down their route for the games as a service path, they've made some choices that are dangerous, and another choice has been made this week that can be a little bit dangerous. Leaving the Haven. Max has titled this one. Jade Raymond, the founder of FairGames developer Haven Studio, has left the company this week, and Sony has announced this via a new Bloomberg report. A reason for her departure, though, wasn't shared with the outlet, but it is said to have come a few weeks after the studio hosted an external test for its PS5 live service game, which reportedly raised concerns for, quote, some developers, end quote. According to the report, there are worries surrounding how the title was received during the test and how far along the project actually is. Officially, Sony said the following to Bloomberg, quote, Jade Raymond has been an incredible partner and visionary force in founding Haven Studios. We are deeply grateful for her leadership and contributions, and we wish her all the best in her next chapter. They then add, quote, it's committed to, they quote it, try it again. They then added, quote, PlayStation have added that it's, quote, committed to supporting Haven Studios and excited to continue the journey it's on with this title. Jade Raymond is best known for her time at Ubisoft, where she helped create the first Assassin's Creed title and Watch Dogs. However, she hasn't been a part of a developer that shipped a game since Star Wars Battlefront 2 in 2017. This news raises more questions around Sony's push into live service space in the last couple years. While it achieved unexpected success with Helldivers 2, it faced instant failure in Concord, and has a cancelled handful of projects from traditional single-player developers within PlayStation that were going to be games as a service. This included the Sony Ben possibly helmed God of War spin-off, the Last of Us Online from Naughty Dog, and numerous more. Although not cancelled yet, FairGame, $FairGames, is one of the last remaining titles from this live service effort, and allegedly is apparently due to release in 2026 after an internal delay out of 2025. Now, Max, it's interesting, right? Like, I understand that they've highlighted the point of like, oh man, she's not released anything since 2017. I just want to highlight, because I know people have talked about it. I know other shows, like they use Amy Hennig as an example. I can't remember when was the last fucking time Amy Hennig.
Well, wasn't Jade Raymond working with Amy Hennig over at Visceral?
Oh shit! I think she may have been. There you go.
Because she joined EA and she joined Motive Studio back in 2015, I think it was. And then she went to Visceral with Hennig to work on that Star Wars game that eventually got cancelled.
Was it 1313?
So, yeah, something like that. And then in 2018, she left Motive. In 2019, she joined Google.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
As a vice president to work on Stadia bullshit. And then she left in 2021 and founded Haven Studios, and now that this has been delayed internally, she's like, peace.
Yeah, it does make me wonder. So look, we have very clickbaitily titled the episode Concord 2.0. Now, we are at currently no place to make that claim, but I'm doing it anyway for them clicks. Do you think we should be concerned about FairGames?
Yes.
Sweet.
I mean, if the founder of the studio doesn't want to stick with it until the launch of their game, there's got to be something wrong, right?
Yeah. Look.
They don't want their name attached to that. Sorry.
There's a couple things that are concerned. Obviously, that is a big one. Now, Jade Raymond, her skill set has always been a producer, right? Never a game dev itself. So for her job is assisting around the release of titles, the support of a studio, the financial understanding, balancing it all to make it all function. So then it astounds me, and I find very interesting that she has not been able to then release anything since 2017. That does make me wonder about her. Look, granted, I don't know her personally, right? And could I produce the game any better? Absolutely not. But it does make me wonder around her her producer credits, and what can she actually do, especially if any game that she has worked on has not been able to come together. Now, I remember when Haven was announced and it was shared that Jade was going to be one of the founding members of the studio. It's one of the first times in my recent memory where a not creative lead has been the founder of a studio, instead coming from the more business side, right? So for herself, it does make sense for her why she would bounce without any creative endeavor for her. Like, for her, it's not that. It is just simply, I would assume it's like, hey, I have no creative investment. I've made the studio's up, it's running, I have an opportunity to go do this, or fuck this, I'm out. Both options are presumably available to her. I wonder which one it is.
Yeah, well, we won't know until she announces which studio she's going to end up at next.
Yeah. I hope it's like one that releases something.
Imagine if they get rid of the Bungie, the Bungie guy, and they replace him with I'll just go over there.
Yeah. Look, it's
go fix that sinking ship.
Now, look, granted, neither you nor I have seen, played, or nor if we had access to anything around FairGames. Very few people have. So anything that we say is completely speculative. However, on the back of the failure that is Concord, I am left wondering, is it likely that FairGames is as rough as Concord, like with the team behind it? Or is it just PlayStation are so fucking scared about releasing a dud that they are being overly hands-on? And for her response is, either get the fuck out or I get the fuck out.
Could be both.
So there's a couple other layers. Like we immediately, like, I don't know, I admittedly defaulted to the presumption that, oh, maybe she just sucks as a producer or wants to bail out on what could all be a sucky game. But as we've been talking about this right now, I'm just rattling it around in my head. Yeah, what if it's as simple as PlayStation are too deeply involved? They are actively trying to shepherd this into something else. Because the idea of this game seems really fun in principle. It's a payday sort of feel. It's a heist game.
You mean like they did with Concord?
Well, the problem with Concord is they let the studio just go. And they believed the larger idea, but then failed to jump in and assist. So it then ended up coming short.
Yep.
So into that next piece of news, Max. What you got for me?
Oh, $80 games are a steal, Ryan.
In Australia, that's absolutely true. In US pricing, not so much.
Ex-PlayStation executive Shuhei Yoshida believes $70 and $80 games are a steal when compared to other forms of entertainment. The newly independent executive was speaking at Gamescom, where he was inevitably asked about the rising cost of games. Almost all publishers have bumped the price of their software up to $70 at the start of the PS5 generation, but now Microsoft and Nintendo have announced that they will increase the cost of some of their software to the $80 mark. Speaking with Critical Hit Games, Yoshida spoke in favor of variable pricing. Quote, each game has different value it provides or the size of budget. I totally believe it's up to the publisher or developer's self-publishing decision to price their product to the value that they believe they are bringing in. In terms of actual price of $70 or $80 for really great games, I think it will still be a steal in terms of the amount of entertainment that the top quality games bring to people compared to other form of entertainment, he continued. Liking it to paying $25 to see an hour and a half long movie. Most games last you 20 to 30 hours. You justify that out across the space of like quote unquote watching other forms of media. That would be a couple of $100 movie comparison.
Yeah, look, okay. I have
obviously those mediums are different.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things like it depends on how much you value your time as a commodity.
Look, I'm a firm believer that when it comes to games, the dollar per hour is a shitty fucking unit of measurement. For a number of reasons. You can be like, this game is 300 hours. If that 300 hours sucks dick, then it doesn't matter how much it costs because it simply doesn't matter for me. As someone within my age, within my time availability, I am not 13 anymore. I don't have all the time in the world to play whatever game is around the corner. Like back in the day, pardon me, I would happily play near on anything for hundreds of hours, run the same game 6 times, this, that, the other, because I had that luxury. Now, I'm in that weird line where I have many money. Well, I don't have many money. I have more money, but I have less time. And if the entire the entire proposition around the game costs X, you should get Y hours is bullshit. Personally. Do I like the idea of scalable pricing? Absolutely. With the understanding that it's scalable under a reasonable price. My issue is that at no point in recent history have we actually been paying that price, as in the standard $60 or $70 US for a release. With every game coming with multiple editions that vary from $70, $90 to $110 American, or for us here in Australia that go from 100 if we're lucky, probably 125 to 140 to the better part of $180 for a title, based purely on deluxe editions, early access, whichever. The price for a game is no longer, and hasn't been for a while, that stated price. So with companies like Nintendo, like Xbox / Microsoft bumping their price to $80, is that then going to remove the exorbitant pricing on those other levels? Absolutely not. If anything, they're all going to go up $10 as well. Do I believe that games as a production are more expensive than ever? Yes. Do they need to be? No. That is a problem that they have made by intentionally making titles that align with, it must look better, it must do this, it must do that. Now, granted, as an art medium, I am glad to know that it is developing and it is growing, but there should be games that sit at $30, $40, $46, like whatever price they feel they should charge, they could. But there does need to be an upper limit.
Claire Obscure sitting at $50 US.
Exactly, right? They're like, hey, we've lowered that price because we want people to jump in and buy. Brilliant, smart, incredibly smart, and it's paying off. Is that am I just being a ranty asshole when the idea of her games haven't been this price in forever because there's 3 versions of every fucking game?
I mean,
all right. So look, as a very weird example, I was looking in the store today. I saw 2 Point Museum. It's like $47 for one or $62 for the extended. Like a really weird number, and I like it that way. In the chat, before I jump back to yourself, Max, as I rudely cut you off, Josh LaRosa has jumped in. How are you, sir? They says, I don't think Shu is wrong. The problem is if the pricing increase is to justify the budget to develop bigger and prettier games with bigger and bigger teams, I'd pay the $8 US to get games developed with quality in mind. Boy, I'd pay the X-Vision 33 any day. Look, and that's the problem. I don't have an issue with that at large, right? I do believe that, games are getting more expensive to make. Everything is getting more expensive to make. And understandably, games are a boutique industry, right? These are things that we don't need them to survive. They are great for us, our minds, our mental health, etc. However, they are not needed in the same way that water, electricity, gas, your internet, those things are deeply essential to how our lives run. Do I remember paying like $100 and something for a game back in the PS2? Yeah, absolutely. I think I paid $110 back then for Resident Evil 4.
I paid $150 for Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation 1.
Exactly, right? So with that context, games are cheaper than they ever have been. And very similar to things like movies, it's a weird balance, because it's that weird line. It's the commoditization of art. So the business and the creative weirdly kind of clash. Sorry, Max, I did cut you off earlier.
I can't remember what I was going to say now, but it's just it's one of those things. I think that and there's whispers that hardware is going to go up again, thanks to the lovely tariffs over in the US. And like PlayStation just raised their prices. Xboxes are currently the most expensive console in the US because of the the raise in price. Like it's just, it is getting ridiculous. But like you said, they are luxury boutique items that aren't they are not a necessity. So it's just one of those things of like, you know, play free to play games then.
But it's one of those interesting things, right? Where every studio that makes their game wants their game to sell. Absolutely, right? Once again, business. However, with the cost of everything going up, but wages not moving, people are going to have to make quicker and smarter decisions around what they spend their money on. And if every developer, every publisher is increasing the prices of their games, all they're going to do is actively restrict how many games people will be willing to buy a year. Now, granted, gamers are also fucking stupid, myself included. So would I go without something else in order to buy a particular game? Possibly. I've done it in the past. Doesn't mean I'm not going to do it again. But that is the balance where people are going to have to make. Now, that is a very presumptive conclusion because when we talk about games as a service, people are funneling money into those titles. So the idea that no one has enough money to buy a fucking $70 game or $80 game is also kind of bullshit. Because I imagine people spend a fuckload more money in Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever bullshit skin they bought that week. Like, in order to get the Jay and Silent Bob skin for Call of Duty, which admittedly I have not played since because I've been working, was like $35 just for some skins. But it's Jay and Silent Bob. I had to own it because I love those characters deeply. But if I, think about it. Like, if I didn't buy that, that's $35 I could have spent on another game.
You sucker.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. I'm very aware. Josh also adds, plus budgets aren't necessarily the only issue. There's those games as a service whales are simply taking up the time and money of majority of players. It's self-imposed industry issue. There you go. Absolutely. I'm glad. Yeah, bang on the same page there. Is there anything else you'd like to add around that, Max?
No, I think we covered the topic pretty well.
Excellent. All right, let's get into that next bit, which is them quick bitties. Is it your turn or my turn?
It's you, mate.
Sweet.
Now, I will read the first one because I left.
Yeah, because I'm not what the fuck you've just written. So yes, please.
I left out a key piece of information. So yes. Kojima has left his studio with a USB with all his ideas on it, just in case.
Okay, cool. Because you've written Kojima has left his studio with all his ideas on it, just in case. That is very concerning and confusing.
Because
if Hideo Kojima leaves Kojima Productions, that's a concern. And by the sounds of it, what you've written, he's left the studio just in case. Like, just in case of fucking what, Max?
Konami have come for their revenge.
Good idea. Good thinking, right?
Yeah, he's like, I've got so many ideas. Fuck it. USB stick, and he gave it to his assistant so they have some direction if he ever...
Like kicks it or gets sick or can't work.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that is interesting about Kojima in a lot of ways. Like right now he's got DS2, Death Stranding 2, which comes out in about a month, which is very exciting. As we discussed last week's Gone Gold. Exciting. He's got Physant, whatever. There's OD, which is like so Physant is the one that's like it's connected with a movie studio. I think it's Sony Pictures or whatever. And there's OD, which is the one with Microsoft, which essentially is now under Microsoft's business strategy. It's going to be coming on PlayStation anyway. There's a lot at play. And I imagine he has more ideas in the future. And I don't know about you, I personally love Kojima and his weird ass brain. I would love to see what's in there. Part of me would hope that maybe at some point on that USB is like, hey, if we were able to do Metal Gear again, maybe it's this. But I also am very aware that is very selfish of me, and I'm confident that he's just like, nah, I'm done.
Well, isn't that what Physant is? Isn't that supposed to be like an espionage?
Yeah, but it's not tactical. It's not tactical espionage action as Metal Gear was. I believe it has another very similar but weird name. Next piece, though, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, has continuing to bomb so hard that Warner Brothers still has not recovered the expenditure of the title. That game was fucking yonks ago.
Yeah.
It is, without a doubt, one of the biggest failings in recent history for a game. And it could have been good. Rocksteady.
Hey, at least it's still purchasable and playable.
That is true. I don't know why you'd buy it, but good. And finally, in the quick bits, this one's for you, Max. New Kingdom Hearts 4 screenshots were released this week.
So they cancelled. I think they cancelled a mobile game.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, "Hey, we're still working on 4. Don't worry. Here's some screenshots."
How'd it work? How'd it do it for you?
It's exciting. I'm keen.
Because you're a big king. Because you're a sucker for a good Final Fantasy. We know that.
Big old dork fan.
And you have a moment for Disney, but like Kingdom Hearts is up there for you.
Yeah, I can't wait to have like The Rock as a party member. When we go to fucking Moana Land or whatever.
I do wonder, because once again, having not played any of them, I've not played a little bit of the first one. Like, are they going to integrate more Marvel stuff now? Integrate some Star Wars stuff?
Oh, yeah,
any Fox stuff?
I think this is the first time that Marvel's been around, because I think the last one was just after they acquired
Disney and Pixar, because there was Toy Story levels from memory. The Rock did crash AEW with Black Adam. I'm sorry, what? How the hell did I not know that? That's funny. But yeah. Well, okay, something that we've yet to discuss now, mostly because I don't give a shit. But I would love for you, having played pretty much every Kingdom Hearts, I assume.
Almost all of them.
What do you?
There are some handheld ones that can like.
Yeah, the 365 over 2.5 chapter prologue. For yourself, what would you like to see in a Kingdom Hearts 4? What worlds would you like to see? What story would you like them to tell? Once again, not knowing any of the story or what it's leading to.
Look, I don't know. I can't even remember. So I played Kingdom Hearts 3 before Hadley was born. Like, that's how long it's been.
Holy shit!
Like,
Your kid's like 26 now.
I literally got home from Japan, and Ali's like, "I bought Kingdom Hearts for you." I'm like, "Oh, I almost bought this while I was in Japan. Thank you." So it's been like 7 years since I played Kingdom Hearts 3. I almost have no memory of what that story was. They always try and do the new like stuff that they haven't done before. So I think we had like a Pirates of the Caribbean world last time in Kingdom Hearts 3. So I guess all the new ones that we'll see what was there, like elementals and
Mute in the chat says the previous Kingdom Hearts was about the darkness.
Yeah, they're all about the darkness.
Well, about the darkness.
I think there's one dude who's like 7 different fucking characters. They're all the same fucking dude. It's confusing. Kingdom Hearts is one of the most fucking confusing stories that you'll ever experience if you choose to experience it.
No, thank you. I'd rather not.
But yeah, seeing Star Wars stuff would be cool. Seeing, running around. Let me fuck up Darth Vader with my Keyblade. Give me Luke and whatever the new chick's name was. Give me old Luke
Rey.
and young Rey.
How about
let's go me and Ray across the stars.
What if, in your journey around Kingdom Hearts, you are joined by Jar Jar Binks? Like, what if he hangs around with Goofy? And got this, and then Misa person.
Yeah, I'm with Mute. Give us some FX shows. Let me go to the fucking bear.
No. Okay, here it is. If you want me to get into Kingdom Hearts, there's only one FX show you put into Kingdom Hearts. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. If I can have Danny DeVito as Frank Reynolds as part of my team, and he can,
Spoilers, Danny DeVito's already in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
he plays the fucking Vader.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll bring him back as fucking as Frank Reynolds. In combat, he can become Man Cheetah, or Man Spider. He could be the Trash Man. He could use eggs in this trying time and just like throw Patty's eggs at people. There's a lot of things that could be.
X-Files.
X-Files, get Mulder and Scully in there. Mulder can get all be all sexily, and that thing. The Simpsons. We saw in the chat here from Mute. Seinfeld. Imagine that. What's the deal with the darkness? Like, that would be funny. I'd enjoy that. I still wouldn't play the game, but I'd watch the shit out of that part in a Let's Play.
Well, I mean, it would also like condense the story. We can just yada 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 the story and not have to worry about too much.
Yeah. Excellent. But look, Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be a long way away. So let's get into the section where we talk about what games are coming up this week. Now, one thing I did like that you did this week, Max, is you put the upcoming games, but then you also included the PS Plus games in this list because they are correctly games that are dropping as part this week.
Correct.
But yeah, Mute, Disney owns a lot of shit. They do own a lot of shit. And I'm pretty confident that Newman is a Heartless. So Josh confirms. Newman.
Coming this week. On the 20th of May, we have Roadcraft coming to PlayStation 5. We have Stalker Legends of the Zone trilogy coming
Apparently
to PS5.
those Stalker titles are really fun.
Yeah. So Stalker appears twice on this list. And on the final game on the 20th of May is TMNT Splintered Fate coming to PS5, PS4. On the 21st of May, we'll get Deliver at All Costs, PS5.
Now, Deliver at All Costs, I did see this title through Keymailer, and it's like a 2.5D delivery game, but the entire world is destructible. So you can just haul ass through buildings to get these deliveries. It looks sick. I do hope we get approved for a key, because I would really love to play it. It looks like my kind of stupid.
We have Fantasy Life 1, The Girl Who Steals Time, PS5. We have Night's Night, PS5, PS4. Knock on the Coffin Lid, the Complete Edition, PS5, and Monster Train 2, PS5. On the 22nd of May, we have Blades of Fire, PS5. We have Duck Detective, The Ghost of Glamping, PS5. Duck Detective, The Secret Salami, PS5. We have Linked, Banner of the Spark on PS5. We have Out of Sight on PS5, Trident's Tale PS5, and Zombie Army VR on PSVR 2. On the 23rd of May, we have Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny Remaster for PS4, and we have Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon coming to PS5. And those PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium games that are also dropping on the 20th of May, we have Sandland, PS5, PS4, Soul Hackers 2, PS5, PS4, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted Full-Time Edition, PS5, PS4, we have Battlefield 5 on PS4. We have Stalker Legends of the Zone trilogy coming to PS5 and PS4.
Sweet. So, they're coming out this week, but you can play them on PS Plus. Big win.
We have Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, PS5, PS4. We have Humankind, PS5, PS4. Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, PS5. We have Gloomhaven Mercenaries Edition, PS5, PS4. And lastly, we have Battle Engine Aquila coming to PlayStation 2.
Fantastic.
Well, the PS2 version coming to PlayStation 5.
Right. Side note, by the way, just because I was discussing Keymailer, I did pop Keymailer open to have a look. I did have to laugh. So there was a game called Cattle Country. So this was one that we saw on Twitter, and there was someone's PR company was like, "Hey, we're looking for people that like these games." I'm like, "Hey, that's me. That's chat." So they sent through an email. I saw the trailer. I saw the game, like, this looks fucking sick. I'm in. So I shot them an email. I was like, hey, I'd like, check it out. Cool. Never heard back. So I went to Keymailer, even though they reached out to us. It was real weird. Went through to Keymailer, saw it. I was like, sweet. I'll pop in a key request for funsies. I've just had a look and request rejected. I'm like, motherfuckers, you reached out to us. Still going to play it, though, because it looks sick. Like, this is the one that it looks very Stardew Valley-y. It's a cozy, wholesome sort of energy. It's the one where they got the guy that does the voice of Arthur Morgan to do the trailer. Couldn't be any more my bullshit. But whatever, I don't know. I always find that very fucking funny when it comes to shit like this. Whatever's. Oh, hang on, what have I done? Hang on, I got it closed. I've got my windows just completely re-fucking sized themselves on my second monitor, and it's shit me to tears. Shut up! Not you. Things are playing games. Games are
well
playing
done.
noise. Beautiful. But anyway, that does bring us to the end of the show. Big thank you to everyone for, as always, coming in and checking this out. I say it each and every week. We do really appreciate you all checking out the show. Time is the most precious thing we have in this world, and for whatever reason, you have chosen to do that with us. So thank you. Max, let's get out of here.
Well, everybody, you know the drill. This PlayStation conversation happens every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturists, where you can watch us record the show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. And if you are listening to us on podcast service, be sure to have the 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, or comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, which I highly recommend you do, mostly because this week I have to pay $767 to ensure that our website stays up, which allows for our podcast hosting. So I am shamelessly willing to beg for money. Absolutely, because that shit is fucking expensive. I have, what's the date? I have 6 days to get that money together. Rad.
I swear we just dealt with this issue.
I did a year ago.
When there was a transfer of hosting shenanigans.
Yeah, that was a year ago.
Yeah.
Because I was still at the old place at that time. Like one of the last things I did before I moved into this new house. So, hi everyone, appreciate it. Big fan, love it, thank you. But until next week, where I'll probably harass you for some more dollary dues, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was for the players.
By next week, it'll be too late.
Yeah, but by next week, we'll have to spend the money. Ugh. The things I do for a show that very few people listen to and or watch.